Hey everybody, this is Scotty with Sketchy's Garage, and today we're working on the mean green Chevelle. We just got the rear end pretty much well put together. We're down to the bushings in the top. So we'll make a quick little video, show you guys how to take them out and put them in. Unfortunately, I wasn't thinking about it on the taking out part, but I'll just explain it to you so you know how to go about it. Basically, they set in like that, and you want to take a drill and drill a bunch of holes in there so you can get the center sleeve out and push it out to where it's hollow like this, or somewhat hollow. And then you want to take a punch and punch this end down to get it up off of that right there, because if you just try to knock it out the way it is, this will end up mushrooming on you and it'll be a bear. So I just take a punch, like say, and knock it down. As you can see, it made the diameter smaller, and then you can take your hammer and start beating on it, and 9 times out of 10 it comes right out. When it comes time to put the new bushings in, I like to take and freeze the bushings. I put them in the night before, get them frozen, makes them shrink up a little bit, and then I'll come in here and clean all this up with a flap wheel, get it nice and clean, and then I like to put a lubricant on the bushing and drive it in. You can use grease, but grease it takes up a little bit of space, so I usually use just a tranny fluid or a WD-40 or something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up. Alright, I put just enough lube on it to make the surface a little wet. I got the biggest majority of the paint out of there. If you was to leave the paint in there, it could be a couple mils thick depending on who painted it and how much paint you blew up in there. So it could definitely give you problems trying to drive them bushings in there. I'm going to go ahead and grab them bushings out of the freezer and try to put one in there. If you ever got to do any press work or anything like that, the freezer can be your friend for sure. So always keep that in mind if you got any bearings and stuff you got to do work on. Thing's being stubborn as a mule. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and from the start, this time try it without the bushing on it. Most of the time you can beat them in with the bushing on there, but it's being stubborn today for some reason. Been one of those days, seems like everything on this thing today's been like that. Been 2 or 3 times harder than it should be, but you just got to keep the grind. Alright guys, as you can see we got it in there. I used a block of wood when hitting on this because you don't really want to distort that. If you distort it, it's liable to end up cutting your bushing up and compromising it. So I always like to use a piece of wood on it. That way it keeps its shape. The wood, it'll just take the impact but still let it drive down. As you can see, we broke a couple pieces of wood, but that ain't no big deal. We need firewood anyways. We're going to go ahead and move this car right here out of the way, drop the frame down, and stick the rear end in. Give me a couple minutes and we'll get back on that.